I want to show you guys a few really super simple hamstring exercises. They're all closed chain. We're going to start with the most basic one. So I've got 1/4 spring. I'm at 1 and 1, so I'm at the gear bar closest to the foot end of the reformer, and the stopper is also closest to the foot end of the reformer. You may want to move it out a little bit if your client is a little bit taller or if you've got some mobility concerns, but for me, I'm not that tall. I like to have a little bit more range of motion, so I've got my stopper all the way in and my gear bar all the way in. So again, on that 1/4 spring, which is the lightest one, I'm gonna go on my back. It's much like footwork, except for we're not pushing hard against a really tough spring. We're actually pulling in with that really light spring. So from here, really gentle. This is a very rudimentary version of it. You can go with 2 legs. You can pull in with 1 leg, whatever you feel is appropriate for your client. If you feel you need to bump it up a little bit, bring the carriage all the way back in. We're gonna go into a little hip lift. Activate those glutes, activate those hamstrings, maintain the hover, and then pull yourself all the way back in. And just like the other one, if you need more of a challenge, you can always go into 1 leg, get a little bit of core. We all love that core. Pull that in with that leg. So really feeling those hamstrings activate with that closed chain there. If that's too easy and you want something a little bit more challenging, perhaps you don't want the trunk supported, come on up. You're gonna go onto your knees here. You can keep the spring at that light spring, at that 1/4 spring, or you can bump it up to a medium or a 1/2 spring. So if we want it a little bit harder, we're gonna keep it at that light spring, 1 leg up. This is a variation of a single thigh stretch. So I've got 2 hands on the front knee. If you're a little bit nervous, keep the hands on the bar, or you can spot your client. But we're gonna think of that pull on the way back in, and then pressing out. There's a lot of stability happening on that other leg, but we're really gonna think of activating those hamstrings, making them work, keeping the pelvis nice and level. Again, lots of core in the background. So if you want something a little bit different from that, you want to take the hip out of that neutral orientation, we can go into what I call like a pirate pose. We're keeping that 1/4 spring. We're going to come to the side of the reformer here. I've got my standing leg right up against the shoulder rests, just like that. And then I've got my other leg on that front rail. So we're gonna find an angle that's comfortable for your client, comfortable for you. If it's a little farther, you're gonna get more range of motion. But if you really wanna challenge somebody and work on that inner range, you can keep that heel even closer. So let's just settle somewhere in the middle. We're gonna keep this side nice and stable and activate this leg only. So the challenge will be, can they perform that nice hamstring curl without activating the adductors on this side? Do they kinda wanna do that? Or can they keep this nice proprioception, this nice awareness happening on this hip as they pull in? Okay, so as usual, if you have any questions, please let me know, drop them in the comments. Thanks.